are in the basement of producer and cinematographer Andrew Tingley, who is also well known for being the cameraman on the Grand Rapids lip dub with Rob Bliss that went viral a while back. Mm-hmm. Andrew, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, I've always been passionate about films, and I've known for quite a while now that that's what I want to do. It's just really been a blessing to be so visual and see things become realized through the screen, and had a very successful video production company that gave me a lot of great experiences, and I was able to try all phases of production, from pre-production, production to post-production. It's been great.
Very cool. What's your educational background?
I went to Ferris State University.
Yay, Ferris! Just thought I should mention that. You know, there are Ferris folks around here.
Yes, for sure. Up in Big Rapids, it was great. It was a really hands-on program, and I appreciate that part of the program.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So your studies were in specifically, what was your degree in?
It was in television and digital media production.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how long have you been making videos?
I've been making videos and films for about 15 years now. I've been very blessed to know exactly what I've wanted to do, or what God has been leading me to do for a long time, and haven't gotten very much pushback on that. Nobody says, hey, you should change what you're doing. So I guess I'm in the right career.
So you believe that God led you into the film producing?
Yeah, I believe He has. I mean, He's given me a lot of the skills, very visual, mm-hmm. able to tell stories. I love working with people, and just the technical skills behind all of that. Being able to figure out how to use different types of cameras and different software applications, and working with all kinds of people.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. And from what you said, you've also made some connections around here in the video television industry.
Yeah, I've got a lot of people that I work with, both with corporate pieces and for independent films. Mm-hmm. A lot of actors we've made connections with, and other production professionals, crew members.
Very cool.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. I got to ask you.
Yes.
As we were discussing earlier, mm-hmm. the reason I ran into you, discovered you, was I was looking at Indiegogo, mm-hmm. and I saw your Indiegogo project. It sounds interesting. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yes, we have a new project that we're starting. It's going under the name forhimfilms.com, and at the current point in time, we have 6 scripts total that we're producing, Christian short films. We have one that we've completed that you can see at forhimfilms.com, mm-hmm. so you can see the quality and the level that we're going for. And our very next project we're taking to New York City to give it a bigger scope, bigger feel, to kind of break out of our comfort zones and work with New York actors,
right.
and bring some diversity to these pieces.
Can you tell me about Can You Keep a Secret?
Okay. Can You Keep a Secret is the next short film that we're working on. We put a casting call up on newyork.craigslist.com, and we got a tremendous response. We've had about 25 people respond back for this no-budget project that we're working on. So currently we're trying to raise money just for gas and parking and food to get out to New York City. So we're able to produce this, feature everybody on the crew, all the actors and all the locations. Everybody's willing to give of their time for this piece, because I believe these pieces have a purpose. You know, I've worked on some independent short films that were just like, here's what we can do with our abilities. They're just for entertainment's sake, and I feel like having a purpose behind that and showing like the good of Jesus and trying to encourage believers to step outside of their comfort zones and just talk to other people about God. That's a big thing. That's mm-hmm. what people need to be doing, sharing their faith and their beliefs.
There you go. Very cool. Yeah, I've seen a number of shorts at different places, and oftentimes they seem to build up towards one joke, mm-hmm. one punchline, mm-hmm. and there really isn't a message behind it. But that's neat that you want to actually do something that that means something to you. Mm-hmm. So what exactly is it you're looking for through your Kickstarter for money-wise?
Well, Kickstarter, we're looking for a small amount of money. I think $1,000 for film purposes. That's a very low amount, and it's primarily to get a van load of gear out to New York City and our crew and able to feed us. And there will be parking fees, of course, at each location that we travel to, which can be relatively expensive. So we've had a great response so far. We've raised between $200 to $400. I know that we've had a couple people pledge to give us money, so we're just trying to get to that mark before we go. But we also have a slight extension because the Indiegogo page lasts for a total of, I believe it's 45 days, and we'll be going about in the middle of that. So anything you can give up to that point would just be really great. It'd help tremendously, and even a pledge of $10, those add up really, really quickly. And we would be more than happy. We'd love to put a special thanks on the credits for everybody that's willing to help out. There are different levels, of course, and different perks that you can get as reimbursement for executive producer and stuff like that. And those credits can be fun to have, saying I was the executive producer on a film.
Yes, I have an IMDb page. So what are the perks?
We've got several different levels. The $10 is a special thanks in the credits. $25 gets you a digital download free of any watermarks or anything like that. Just straight up, you can watch it and show it to your church if you want to. The level of $50 gets you a hard copy DVD and all the previous perks before that. I believe the next mark is $100, and that would give you a producer credit, and $250 would give you an executive producer credit.
Very cool. So if some business wants to get an executive producer credit on IMDb, they could give you $250 and you'd say, hey, we'll register you with the IMDb as one of our executive producers. Very cool. Going on from there, what are your future plans?
Future plans, as far as the For Him Films brand goes, is just to develop more of these and try to figure out a way where they can generate a little bit of income to keep producing them. We'd like to be able to pay actors, we'd like to be able to pay crew, and we'd like to just have them grow and continue to be a learning experience and a stepping stone, and once again having that purpose behind them and encouraging the body of Jesus Christ to grow. People to play it in their churches. And the big long-term goal of mine is to make a feature film. There's a lot of feature films right now that people are making for Christ that are not only doing well in the box office, but they're increasing their production value. And it's really encouraging and motivating.
Right. I've seen a couple this year, Courageous and Machine Gun Preacher.
Okay.
And two entirely different films.
Right.
But
I mean, it's interesting to watch how a lot of movies that come out have a really good message. Like The Blind Side came out also, and that had a really good message behind it. Of course, was produced with a big A-list cast, and people really gravitated towards that movie because it had a good message. And Courageous did really well in the box office, so they can continue to make films. And I just want to kind of continue to push the boundaries as I'm meeting people and practicing through these other shorter films to eventually, when I find that story that I believe God wants us to produce, it's got to have a good story. Story is what people gravitate towards. To find a really good cast, maybe get some A-list actors or some really good local actors and produce a feature film.
Very cool. Where do you plan to your film to be viewed?
The short film, or the short film, will be primarily viewed on the For Him Film site, and it will be available through the Sermon Spice website.
Sermon Spice, I'm not familiar.
Sermon Spice is a website specifically designed for pastors to go and purchase videos to spice up their sermons.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a way to kind of crowdsource a video.
Mhm.
So instead of getting a budget together of like $10,000 or $20,000 to produce one of these shorts, which most films don't have that kind of money, we can produce these films and then put them on this website and hopefully recoup some of the cost. But my ultimate goal, once again, is to continue to produce them, put the money back into making more of them and being able to pay the people that we work with, and slowly and steadily increase the quality over time.
Now I almost find myself playing devil's advocate when when I'm with what I'm about to say, but talking about crowdsourcing and fundraising and potentially trying to recover money from your filmmaking. Have you ever heard of Lloyd Kaufman?
That name does not sound familiar.
He's Trauma Entertainment.
Okay.
He wrote a book recently that I won't say the full title since we're talking about, but basically making your own darn movie.
Okay.
And make your produce and direct. But the last one he wrote was on funding or selling.
Okay.
Selling your own darn movie, I think is what it was called, or close. But in spite of the fact that the directions you go with your movies and the direction he goes with his, I think you might get some insight into other potential venues for actually, funding. So,
Absolutely.
Just thought I might toss that in there.
Sure. Yeah.
I actually have it out in my car if you'd like to take a look at it.
I would love to take a look.
But anyhow, so in the future, I asked you what sort of things you've got going in the future. So you're looking at maybe going into full feature length once you find the right script.
Yes, that's definitely the goal. I've already spoken with my church, the entire congregation, about possibly getting people to volunteer on the crew and work on a big production. If we can get enough budget to pay everybody, that would be great too. But I know that the church specifically that did the Courageous movie and the other movies, it started small and it used pretty much all volunteers in the church, and it was a viable model that they were able to then grow and take to the next level.
Very cool. Well, Andrew, it's been a wonderful pleasure chatting with you. You're a delightful fellow. And before I let you go back to your family, notice I'm in front of the door. You cannot get out.
Help!
But tell me just something wonderful and weird about yourself that folks who even know you might not know, and folks who haven't met you would just be go, wow, that's cool.
Well, a lot of people don't know that I really like to sew.
So you're a seamstress,
seamstress. I don't know for sure what it is, but yeah, I think it goes really hand in hand with creating, and I also do some other things like woodworking and stuff like that, and creating feature films from scratch, and sewing. It's all about creating and making, and they're all visual aspects. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I actually sewed a very nice set of curtains for my wife.
You sewed a set of curtains
when we first moved into our house. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they had to go down since we had the kids because I tug on them.
Have you sewn anything else of interest?
Well, I mean, I've made tons of pillows in my days, and when I was in high school, we had a Civil War reenactment, and I sewed my own costume and made a giant musket out of a paper tube.
Awesome.
Did a Batman costume too, but that wasn't for the reenactment.
Well, yeah. Well, if it were British, the British had Batman. They have Batman in their military. Good, different term, different.
Yes.
Well, that is really cool. Oddly enough, since you brought up Civil War reenactments, this weekend at Charlton Park over by Hastings, Michigan, is the I think they call it the Hastings Muster. I'm planning on dropping by there. This will be the third year that I've gone there.
Okay.
Amazing stuff, and they have amazing accoutrements. Okay. I know they would probably slap me if I called it costumes, but
right.
But
they're uniforms.
Uniforms, yeah. Well, except for the Victorian dresses and such, those aren't uniforms. Those are just gorgeous.
Cool. Awesome. That sounds like a lot of
very cool.
Fun.
Well, Andrew, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying there'd be a lot of good stuff to see there. It'd be really
Absolutely.
neat.
Check my site after this weekend. You'll see some fun pictures.
For sure, I will.
And anything you'd like to say as we close?
I can't think of anything in particular. If if you feel led to help out in any way with these films, we're also looking for other crew members and actors and anybody willing to get involved on all levels. Even just praying for our production safety and travel to get there, and anybody else coming along to help out, that there just be safety, and that
Very
these
cool.
things be led to go in the right direction with the right message.
So pray and become part of it.
Yep.
And you didn't even mention toss some money into your Indiegogo.
That'd be great. I hate to be a hard sell, but yes, that would be
I'll
great.
remind folks. I will have a link to your Indiegogo.
Thank you.
And
Check it out.
For $10, you get thank you in the movie and on IMDb. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And for $250, you can be executive producer.
Yes.
And just a regular producer for $100.
Right.
That's awesome. That is a good,
So very cool.
Good little advertisement for businesses and such.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, from the basement of Andrew Tingley, this is the Weird Review. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, John.